Welcome everybody to today, April 7th market recap, trade recap, and market analysis session. I'm very excited to discuss what happened today and how today is a very significant day in the market, but also how we got such a sniper of an entry on a trade which we have placed with credentials to back it up. Now, let's take a look into what happened today in the market and why you see something like such on NQ with almost a 5,000 tick 1 hour candle, which not even that on the 5 minute it's like 3,000 ticks. It's insane what happened today. But before we dive into that, let's dive into overall structure for today and what we were thinking before the market opened at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. So, if you look on the 1 hour chart, let's just do some long-term analysis. Like we mentioned yesterday in the pre-week analysis, I think I'm gonna start introducing pre-week analysis every Sunday as well. We'll have to see. But we noticed this gap fill area, and we said to ourselves this gap fill area is very, very significant, and we want to come back to this gap fill area before seeing any move, whether that be to the downside or to the upside, right? And that's exactly what happened. Like before market open, we set ourselves up to a perfect position where we did fill this gap on both NQ and on ES. Now, we marked out all our key liquidity levels, main liquidity there, and all these zones at the bottom as well. That's just typical charting. Same with ES. But what really stood out is our usage of order flow and point of control in today's market session. So let's go down and see what exactly happened and what makes today very special of a day. Now, taking a look at the NQ chart, I want you to notice something that may be a bit odd. Let me just take this out for now. What do you notice? Do you notice this huge candle right here? It's an abnormally looking candle. And this candle is insane. It is literally 3,400 ticks, almost 3,500 ticks. And if you go to the second one, that's almost 4,400 ticks. And that accounts for over 1,000 points, which is insane, especially on a Monday. Today is a Monday for Trump. It's the most volatile Monday I've seen in a very, very long time, or it may even be the most volatile Monday I've seen. Now, why did this happen? Well, the reason this happened was because of news that came up. And on Forex Factory and Financial Juice and all the other resources we do, there was nothing that was high impact today in the markets. But what was high impact was that there was a sudden release that President Donald Trump considers a 90-day pause in tariffs for all countries except China. And seeing how the tariffs made the market move so down prior, it was extremely bullish news that pushed the market up heavily. Now, as you see here, we fell back down quite significantly as well. And why did we do that? We did that because later on, after that news came out where it said that he considered a 90-day pause, the White House tells CNBC that this 90-day pause on the tariffs is fake news, driving the price down once again. Now, things like this happen where there's fake news or there's essentially news flushes in the markets, and we as traders have to be prepared and know how to deal with situations like this. And it's better to not trade and stay flat during situations like this, and only trade when you find an entry that provides you with enough confluence for you to succeed. Now, you would have known all about this news release by staying and being a participant in our Discord server. We called the pause on the tariffs, and we called the fake news on the tariffs as well. Now, that is all significant all, and the Discord server is completely free. Everything is free in the Discord server. You can join using the link in the description or its pinned comment as well. Now, coming back onto the charts, we see this high volatility suddenly splurge in the market on ES and NQ. Now, we see all this happen and we extend our volume profile out to understand where POC is. And POC actually played a very, very significant role in the market. What POC did was it identified an area where price is essentially at equilibrium. It's when there's a pretty good balance between buyers and sellers and where most volume is. And that was this white line right here that I circled. Now on ES, what was significant about this POC level was that on Bookmap, our POC level was at around the exact same area that our major ES liquidity was for the day, down here at these lows. And this was getting created suddenly after we flushed above all these levels, right? We tapped into the upper liquidity after the big flush, as seen right here. We came down, tapped into this liquidity right here, which is above, and that upside, the upper liquidity was also in placement in a fair value gap, which is also in unison with our V2 retracement. And we expect price to return to POC and major liquidity that has been starting to create down at these lows. Additionally, we do start creating some barriers that are placed above these levels. And although these are light barriers, they can play a large role in the movement towards the downside. And using footprint as well, you could definitely identify that there were trapped buyers at these highs, and when these buyers got stopped out, that made the sells drop very nicely as well. And that can be indicated by this right here, which is, I believe, 10,273 sell stops being initiated right at that point at 5,050. So when that level hit, so many traders were stopped out that it flushed the price down very low, flushing through our liquidity and POC level. And that's where we capitalized on the day. Now, we took one trade, and on one micro we caught 1,323 ticks. Typically, we aim for 200 to 400 ticks plus, but today is a different type of day with much higher increased volatility, which meant that 1,323 ticks was equivalent to that 200 to 400 ticks on a regular day. Now, that's quite insane, but we did size down appropriately to account for our risk management, which is great. Now, let's go back into the overall reasoning for this trade once again as well, and I'll show you how sniper of a trade this really was. So, we saw price retrace into this fair value gap. In the fair value gap, we saw price tap into these liquidity levels above and start seeing rejection to the downside, with barriers getting created above as well. Furthermore, if you look at CVD has continued to be red even when we saw our pumps happen. Additionally, on footprint, even when we were choppy or around this area, delta was still red. And not total delta, but the delta at these certain levels at these highs were still very red, which is indicating to me that seller action is present at these highs and may get introduced to push price lower to a good level where buyers and sellers can be in unison. So when we saw the barriers getting introduced, the delta, the POC being below and in confluence with this ES liquidity at the lows, and typically when we see POC and liquidity in unison, literally exactly, as you see, it's essentially at 5,000 as well, the POC. This is also at 5,000. It's essentially the same. It provides for very, very strong and critical confluences that provide a large sense of confirmation that these shorts will come in. Now, furthermore, we do see an inverse fair value gap play out, confirming this fair value gap move as well. And we see that happen on ES as well, alongside this large cap in as well. There were just too many confluences to say that this trade won't play out, and the trade played out exactly how we wanted. We entered right when we saw certain barriers get introduced, and right at that point, literally 1-2 minutes after, we pushed down, hit this major place of stops being introduced, and pushed all the way down to our target almost instantly within 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, which is absolutely amazing for the market situation which we had today. And this would not have been possible without the usage of bookmap and volume profile as well. Simply, if you look at this volume profile, we see certain nodes and information that you wouldn't know from simple volume down here. This is showing you the time volume, while this is showing you the price volume. Volume is one of the greatest tools that any trader can use because it allows you to understand where the auction is moving the most and where you can expect price to break through quickly, or where you can expect it to balance out before a breakout on either side. Now, that's essentially where I'm going to leave it here for today. We saw our price action trade play out essentially perfectly. We were patient almost until the end of our session, which is 10:15 or 10:30, which was 10:15 today. And it played out right before our exit on the day. And it was a great trade. Proof that I got a sniper entry was this screenshot on Bookmap. This is a live screenshot on Bookmap. But to go further into that, here's a live screenshot of my desktop, which shows you right at 10:16 a.m. the trade being played out perfectly. Same with the ES charts, showing the trade being played out perfectly. I also had all my confluences there as well, just for reference when I'm trading, and I like keeping them to the side to understand why I'm in the trade. Sometimes I look back at it and I see that confluences are not major, so I just get out. But this trade confluences were spectacular. We saw barriers, we saw CVD, we saw delta, we saw bookmap liquidity, we saw a rejection from this fair value gap, a break of the inverse fair value gap. Our bias was to the downside because POC and liquidity are on the downside, almost at the exact same level. And we were able to get a risk to reward of around 1 to 1.2, which is pretty decent. Additionally, we did gap fill, providing for a major move to occur. Furthermore, we did sweep liquidity up at these highs, and followed by a quick sell-off, promoting that we might continue to go down. But this is all the high impact news. We're focusing on simply order flow and what we had in the market when we took this trade right here. So that's where I'm gonna leave it off here for today. This trade was a really good trade, had multiple major confluences, and this is definitely a sample trade to look after on multiple occasions, especially on high impact sudden news events like what happened here today. Now, that's where I'm going to leave it here for today. Thank you so much for attending this market recap or market analysis session, and I appreciate you guys for working hard and taking your time to learn different things within trading itself. If you have any questions regarding the concepts or topics which I have discussed here today, leave a comment down below or join the Discord. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And that's basically it for today. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next trade recap / market analysis session tomorrow. Goodbye.